Hey guys, I just wanted to let you know, hey, this is the third time I've tried to record this voiceover for this video. Today we're going to do a sketch of a hand sanitizer, and I'm just kind of thinking things through, and I decided to turn it and do this portrait style because of the shape of the bottle. So I am just tracing the width of my bottle there, and I am just going to kind of set my bottle up, and you can see all the reflections and the shadows of it. And so I'm just going to start sketching what I see. So as I'm doing that, I'm just going to sketch a oval at the bottom to kind of signify that it's setting on a surface, and then I'm going to sketch some areas on the side to indicate that it's not a flat bottle, So now I'm not getting those lines exactly like I want them, so I'm going to turn my paper upside down so I can kind of get it more coming the same way. And now I'm sketching the lid, and I'm going to turn it back around here in a second, and you know kind of deciding that that was a little bit more, those shoulders of that bottle was a little bit more square. So I am going to fix that. And I fix things a lot as I go through this sketch because this was a little bit challenging for me. So I'm going to fix and erase, and I really have a soft pencil here. And as I'm sketching this, I'll tell you that this is the Strathmore Visual Art Journal, the one we've been working with, and Holbein paints in my MIJELLO palette, and just my little big pencil there, and my Pentel plastic eraser. So now I'm just sketching the lines that I see, some swirly lines in the cap to indicate that screw on top. Now I'm sketching the label, and of course I get that wrong again and kind of get it cockeyed, so I'm going to erase that again. So, and I'm not really worried about it getting perfect. This is practice for me, and I think the more that I practice and try to put down on paper what I see in front of me, the better I'll get in the long run. But you actually have to do it before you can get better. You're going to do it, and you're going to not get it right, and do it again, erase and put down marks, and you may not get it right the first time, but as you do it more and more, as you practice, you'll get better. And this is what we're doing this for practice. Oh, erasing again because I can't draw a straight line. So there, I'm just going to eyeball it over, and that's going to signify my tabletop, that it's actually sitting on something. So now I'm mixing up some paint, and I'm going to try to get a gray color. So I'm mixing up some ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. So that's like a sky blue and a kind of a brownish color. A blue and a brown usually make a black. Sometimes it'll kind of turn green on you, so if it does, you just add a little bit of red. So you usually, if you mix your primary colors, then you can get a black or a gray color. So that's what I did, and I came over, and I'm gonna start putting that down here. Sorry I didn't have that palette over so you could see my mixing. So there, I start putting it down. Oh, it's too black. So I take some water and I kind of thin that out on the paper. As I'm putting this color down, I'm noticing that I'm having to go back and forth and reload my brush over and over again, and that's because my brush was just too small. It was just too small. So you know, I would suggest if you did this project in this realistic size of the bottle that you use like a number 6 or an 8 brush. I believe this was a number 4 brush. I'll have to look and see if that's actually what it was. Yeah, it was a number 4. So I would say a number 6 or a number 8 would be better to do this with. So now I realized that was too dark, so I was just putting some water on there and lifting it up. Now here is where I am putting some blue down on the bottom half of the label, and you know, it's streaky. It is streaky, and I'm not caring for it at all. So I've already decided in my mind that I am going to put a second layer of color on this. So, you know, but I'm going to have to let it dry before I do, and it'll be much better. So I'm just kind of looking at my piece here and deciding what it needs. So right now I'm laying in my shadows that I see. Now this size brush, the number 4, was good to do that with because it was a smaller brush and it doesn't hold as much water. So I felt like that was a good size to do that with. So you know, if you have a number 4, if you don't, if you just have one size of brush, just be careful on how much water you put in, because your bigger brushes can get a fine point, but you know, if you have too much water, it'll flow down onto your paper and it'll make a watermark. So right now I'm laying in some blue that I see reflected into the bottle and some other gray marks that I see. Now I think I am going to go back in. There I am with a bigger brush, and it's going down much better, and it looks much better and much smoother. So, and that was a number 8 brush. So I would suggest, but you see how that number 8 brush came, it had a nice point to it. So if you control the amount of water in your brush, you can use it for many things. So, alright, while that dries, I've decided to get my Pigma Micron, and if you have a Sharpie, that's fine, or any other type of marker, fine liner marker. If it's a water-based marker, though, and you get water over it, then it will smear. So this Pigma Microns, they're waterproof. So look at that when you are looking at your markers. So I'm looking at that, and I'm trying to see if that blue is dry yet. This dries pretty fast, but it wasn't quite dry, so I am just going up and kind of outlining the other marks I've seen on the bottle. So, and then I go around and finish outlining that label. Now I think it looks pretty good now once I put the ink down. You know, I think that just, I don't know, I think it just makes my artwork look better, so I like it, you know. So now I'm going to get some red paint, and I'm going to paint the red part of the label, and it has the travel size written on it. Yours may have something else written on it. Yours may not have this on it, but just paint what you see on your bottle. And you know, your bottle may be a little bitty bottle from Bed Bath & Beyond or Bath & Body Works, or you know, one little bitty bottle from Walmart or Rural King or Lowe's. You know, it doesn't matter. Walgreens. You know, just take your little bottle of hand sanitizer, or you know, if you're just using soap and water, that's fine. You know, draw your bottle of soap or your bar of soap. You know, that's cool too. You know, anything you can get to draw that will let you practice is what we're going for. And we're just getting everyday items at hand to practice in our sketchbook. That's what we're going to fill our sketchbook with, everyday items that we find around the house. So I've, you know, was talking to my grandkids and they had some great ideas. So I'm going to use some of those ideas in my sketchbook series. So on my bottle here I had another area underneath that had a blue oblong area that, you know, had kills 99.9% of the germs. So now another thing I noticed was there was bubbles in my hand sanitizer. So I'm trying to represent them. So I'm not very good at that yet. So I'm going to have to do some practicing and figure out how to, and really look at those bubbles a little bit closer to try to get better at that. So I think it came off as bubbles, but I still need some practice on that. So, but that's what this is about. Now I'm just taking some water and I'm just kind of softening those edges to kind of blur them out. You know, it's about shadows and highlights. So I need to work on that one. So now I'm taking a blue gel pen and I'm just writing the text I see on the bottle. You know, moisturizing hand sanitizer. I'm going over it a couple times so you can see it. But this is just a regular blue ink pen, and you could do it with a paintbrush, you know, if you had a little bitty paintbrush, but this was just such a small area that I did not feel confident in doing any lettering with a little paintbrush. I just wanted to write it. So I tell you, I noticed my handwriting is not as good as it used to be years ago. So I think that's because we're using the computer and the iPhone so much and we're not writing as much. So just like that, you know, that's, if you don't practice, you know, it just doesn't, you know, you kind of lose your touch. So here I am right now. I'm using a white gel pen so you can see it on that red and blue. And then down there at the bottom, I'm, you know, writing some other text that I see on the bottle. Okay, now I'm going to take my number 8 size brush and I am going to paint my surface. So, and I'm using gray because my desk was gray, but this was a little bit of a cooler gray color that I mixed up, and I used, I think I just used black watered down. So I'm adding some blue in there because I felt like it would reflect blue from the label on the bottle. Making that darker, a little bit darker right underneath the bottle. And then there you go. There you go. I'm just feathering it back and out. And so I hope you like this video, and I'd like to see your sketches and paintings in your handbook or sketchbook that you're doing. So like and subscribe this video and let me know, and send me pictures of your sketch, and hope you're enjoying the sketchbook series. Thanks, guys.